Fates of Madeleine Mouton and Germaine Leloy-Godefroy. Madeleine Mouton, born Madeleine Maxence, Leveller on April 15, 1910, in Évreux, Normandy, led a life marked by turbulence and tragedy long before she became known as the Berthelot poisoner. Her early years were shaped by family instability. Her parents separated due to her father's alcoholism. Madeleine was described as moody and prone to fabrications, even claiming noble ancestry. By 17, she had attempted suicide, foreshadowing a troubled adulthood. She married Clément Mouton in 1929, and the couple eventually moved to Algeria when Clément, a gendarme, was transferred there in 1940. Madeleine's life in Algeria was restless. She struggled with the climate, engaged in frequent affairs, and reportedly drank heavily. The couple moved often due to her reputation, and Madeleine endured the loss of a child shortly after birth. By 1942, they settled in Berthelot, near Sidi Bel Abbes, where Madeleine was initially barred from living in the barracks, and took up residence with a local woman, Madame Des. There, she gave birth to another child and continued her pattern of unstable relationships and accumulating debts. It was in Berthelot that a series of mysterious illnesses and deaths began to unsettle the community. In 1943, several residents, including acquaintances and even her own husband, fell gravely ill with symptoms of acute poisoning. 7 people died, including Madame Leroux, Madame Juan, and an elderly man named Benet, all while under Madeleine's care. Suspicion grew as Madeleine, who had purchased sodium arsenite under the guise of pest control, was often the last to see the victims alive. Her apparent devotion to the sick masked her true intentions, and rumours swirled throughout the village. The investigation intensified after her own child died, and her husband expressed suspicions in a letter to Madeleine's sister. Authorities discovered her purchase of poison and her pattern of borrowing money under false pretenses. In April 1944, Madeleine was arrested. She confessed to 4 poisonings, but denied responsibility for the others. A psychiatric evaluation found her to be of sound mind, despite her heavy drinking. Her trial began in November 1947. The court charged her with 11 poisonings, 7 fatal and 4 attempted. The defence pleaded insanity, but the jury was unconvinced. Madeleine was found guilty and sentenced to death. She petitioned for clemency, but it was denied. She fainted upon learning her fate and sought religious counsel. On April 10, 1948, at dawn, as she was led to the scaffold, she cried out for her mother and children. Madeleine Mouton was executed by guillotine in the courtyard of Sidi Bel Abbes prison. Her execution marked her as the only woman executed in French Algeria and the second to last French woman to be guillotined. Her crime sparked lasting shock and fear, securing her a notorious place in the annals of French criminal history. Germaine Leloy-Godefroy was born on May 18, 1917, in the small commune of Cosmières, Sarthe, France. Her early life was marked by hardship. Her father took his own life, leaving Germaine and her 5 siblings to be raised by their mother in poverty. In her early 20s, Germaine saw marriage as a means to escape her circumstances. She wed Albert Leloy, a young man who had just inherited his family's farm in Baugé. For a time, married life brought her stability and a measure of prosperity as the couple ran a successful coal business. But beneath the surface, Germaine's life was far from content. She began an affair with Raymond Boulissière, a man 12 years her junior and an employee in the Leloy business. Their relationship grew intense, and together they dreamed of running away and taking over the business. Driven by this passion and the promise of a new life, Germaine began to plot her husband's murder. In the days leading up to the crime, Germaine asked Raymond to sharpen an axe and shorten its handle. She hid the weapon among firewood, then concealed it under her stove. On December 10, 1947, after giving Raymond the couple's savings and instructing him to hide the money, Germaine waited until Albert was asleep. Then she struck him twice in the head with the axe, killing him as he slept. To cover her tracks, she attempted to stage the scene as a violent robbery, even going so far as to inflict wounds on her own face and mop up some of the blood. Her story quickly unravelled under police scrutiny. Investigators found inconsistencies in her account and discovered Albert's wallet, containing a large sum of money hidden at Raymond's home. When confronted with mounting evidence, Germaine tried to shift the blame to Raymond and even to another former lover. Ultimately, she confessed, "It's neither Boulassier nor Quay who killed him. It's me, just me." Germaine and Raymond were tried at the Assize Court of Maine-et-Loire in 1948. Raymond was convicted as an accomplice and sentenced to 10 years of hard labour. The court depicted Germaine as argumentative, of questionable morality and lacking intelligence. On November 26, 1948, she was sentenced to death by guillotine. Her appeals and requests for clemency were denied. On April 21, 1949, at 4:30 a.m., Germaine was awakened in her cell at Angers prison. She dressed in silence, prayed with the chaplain, wrote a final letter, and declined the traditional last cigarette and glass of rum. After her hair was trimmed and her neck bared, she was led to the guillotine. At 5:50 a.m., Germaine Leloy-Godefroy became the last woman to be executed by guillotine in France. Her story, a grim tale of passion, betrayal and violence, marked the end of an era in French criminal justice as she passed into history as the final female victim of the guillotine, aka National Razor. If you were shocked by these stories and want to know more about the hidden crimes lurking in the shadows, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Every week we uncover new stories that you won't find anywhere else. Don't miss out. Join us as we dig deeper into the darkest corners of the criminal world.